Hey there, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Lisa, and if you are new to our channel, we welcome you, and if you're coming back, we welcome you back. We are homesteaders and we follow a Mediterranean diet, and we love to show you how to make delicious and easy farm-to-table meals. Today I'm gonna show you how to make twice-baked potatoes and twice-baked sweet potatoes. They're so easy to make, and they make a great side or main course if you add some protein with them, and they're especially great because you can make them and then you can pop them in the freezer to take them out whenever you want them. So let's get into it. We're gonna preheat our oven, 375. I've got my big baking sheet here, and I'm gonna put a piece of parchment paper down. Got my potatoes on my baking sheet. The next thing I'm gonna do is just drizzle a little bit of olive oil. I'm gonna get in here with my hands as well to make sure this olive oil coats the potatoes really well. Whoops, I spilled some. Also gonna sprinkle some salt. I'm just using pink Himalayan salt. And so I'm just making sure these potatoes are nicely coated with the olive oil. Gonna give our potatoes a couple pokes with a fork to let the steam escape. I just do like 3 per potato. Okay, so it's been an hour. I'm going to check on our potatoes and see how they're doing. They are looking nice and brown. I'm going to give them a poke and see if they are done. Sweet potatoes are definitely done. I'm going to put in the baking potatoes just for like another 10 minutes, but I'm gonna take these sweet potatoes off. Once you've got your potatoes cooled down to the point where you can safely handle them, so you're just gonna take the potato like this and just cut it in half. You want to try to be careful not to rip the skin. I like to do this to all of the potatoes at once first. The sweet potato skin is definitely more delicate, so you want to be really, really careful when you cut this so as not to rip it. And I've got another little tray out for my sweet potatoes because when I cut the other potatoes, they filled up the whole tray. So there's our sweet potatoes. So here's what they look like at this point. We've got our potatoes, and then we've got our sweet potatoes. So now we're just gonna take the flesh of the potato out, being careful not to scrape all the way to the bottom. We wanna just get the potato part out, but we wanna leave a shell. I'm just gonna go down, see how I'm scooping. I'm trying not to scoop all the way to the bottom. If you scoop all the way to the bottom, it'll be too flimsy. And we're gonna do the same thing to our baking potatoes as well. Just scoop, but not all the way to the bottom. You want your potato shell to look about like this. Next, I'm shredding up some cheese. This is a hard goat cheddar cheese. I'm lightening this recipe up from a traditional twice-baked potato, and I'm going to get that into my potatoes, and then I'm going to add some milk. I'm using raw milk here. After the milk, I am going to add some salt. This is pink Himalayan salt. This full recipe is on my blog, and I will link it below. And some pepper. And then after the pepper, I am going to add in some paprika because I really like the way that paprika tastes in twice-baked potatoes. Next up is a really nice glug of extra virgin olive oil, and then we are going to mix that all together to make it nice and creamy and get all the lumps out to fill our shells. Now, to fill these shells, you can get really fancy and use a baggie. Charlie used to work at a country club, and so he would probably do that. But I like to keep things a little bit more rustic, and so I literally just take a spoon and spoon it out of there and fill the shells, and it works just fine. And just like with the russet potatoes, I'm going to put in some milk. However, with the sweet potatoes, I'm gonna do a feta cheese because I just think it sounds good. Add in our salt, a little bit of olive oil, black pepper, and then I'm just gonna mix this in. The sweet potato is much softer than the russet potato, so I didn't even need to mix this. I just stirred it around. I don't mind the texture of this. If you want to whip it, put it in your KitchenAid or something like that, you can go ahead and do that. Fine, just like this. I'm just spooning this right back into the shells. Fresh chives from my herb garden are a beautiful little garnish. Now for the second bake, what I'm gonna do with these is I'm gonna put them in a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until they are nice and golden brown. And if you want to freeze your potatoes for later, now's the time you're gonna do that too, and I'll show you how you would go about doing that. I wanna eat these today, so I'm gonna put them in the oven right now. To freeze the twice baked potatoes, you're just gonna take and wrap them each individually, and then I like to put them all together in a Ziploc bag, and then you can take them out for whenever you want to cook them. All right, our beautiful twice baked potatoes and twice baked sweet potatoes are done. I am gonna eat one of these twice baked sweet potatoes right now because I cannot even wait, and I have a really yummy idea for it. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Get it on my plate. Okay, so I came out on my porch to try this, and I have two things I'm gonna put on it. I've got cinnamon and I've got tahini. And I've got a question. Are any of you obsessed with cinnamon the way that I am? Ever since I was a little girl, I always loved putting cinnamon in my ice cream. I love it in my hot cocoa. I love it in my coffee. And it's gonna be amazing on this sweet potato. So I'm wondering if there's anyone else who loves cinnamon as much as I do. So I'm gonna give it a good sprinkle of cinnamon. Got all over the plate and like not on my potato. There we go. So we're gonna do a good drizzle of that. Look at that. That delicious sweet potato with that feta. And then we've got the tahini and the cinnamon on it. It's going to be just savory and yummy. It's a big bite. Okay, here's my favorite part to try it. That is so delicious. They're super easy for meal prep. You'll love having them on hand. I can't wait for you to make these because they're really good and they are going to become a delicious, healthy favorite at your house.